Thank you back to the channel, and thank you so much for showing up. I am going to be taking a look today at the Interstate's Forgotten Code. Now, I am a bit of a cartography nerd. I love maps. I mean, I really kind of nerd out about them. Whenever I see a physical map, I kind of just have to take 5 minutes and look at it. And yeah, anyways, I don't know a ton about the interstate marking system as far as like how they identify and mark the different interstates. What I know is that I believe east-west routes are even, and odd interstate routes, like 91, for example, is a north-south. So that's about the end of what I know about interstate routes. Why don't we let's take a look here and see what we can figure it out.
The interstate highway shields hide within them long forgotten knowledge. As our great ancestors could navigate by the signs in the sky before
I
the
can do that
creation of
clearly.
the compass, so too before GPS could
it's
they
11 a.m.
navigate by these signs. Come with me and learn how to navigate the constellations created across a continent by the interstate highway system. First are the interstate majors, beginning with I-90 from Seattle to Boston, the longest and northernest of all the I's. Then the southernest, Jacksonville, Florida to Santa Monica, California, I-10. Interstate majors that run east-west are double digits ending in 0, the bigger the northerner. So filling in the rest, the next northernest is San Francisco, California to Teaneck, New Jersey, I-80, and the next southernest, Florence, South Carolina to Kent, Texas, I-20. Then Cove Fort, Utah to Baltimore, Maryland, I-70, and Little Rock, Arkansas to Fort Worth, Texas, I-30. Okay, so that one is the most minor of the majors, and it doesn't quite fit as well with the rest, with its diagonality.
Yeah, it's a little
confident it's the lone exception and not foreshadowing. Next, Barstow, California to Wilmington, North Carolina, I-40, then I-50 and I-60, which don't exist.
I was going to say, I don't
older
think there was an
highways
I-50
than the
or
interstate
60.
system, slower other ways not built to the Interstate's Book of Exalted Construction Codes. These are called U.S. highways or U.S. routes, the most famous of which is Route 66, and these use the United States numbered highway system, which put the old U.S. Route 50 and 60 right in the middle. The Department of Transportation knew that only the most devout roadway anoraks would be attuned to the difference between interstates and routes, and normals would simply look at the number. To simplify,
You filthy normies, you don't know the difference. What a bunch of losers.
Everyone's life, DOT skipped Interstates 50 and 60 to avoid minds getting muddled in the middle of America. That's the east-west interstate majors covered. Now on to north-south, the longest of which is Maine to Miami, Florida, I-95, which, like all majors, no exception surely, are double digits, but ending in 5 now to indicate verticality.
The majors?
On the opposite coast, San Diego, California to Blaine, Washington is I-5. Okay, so already that's not double digits, but maybe officially it has a leading 0, but just not on the sign, right? Department of Transportation?
I get that.
No? Okay, well, then I-5 has a leading 0 in our hearts. The rest of the north-south interstate majors are Petersburg, Virginia to Montgomery, Alabama, I-85, a bit of a sister route to I-30, San Diego, California to Sweetgrass, Montana, I-15, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Hialeah, Florida, I-75, Las Cruces, New Mexico to Buffalo, Wyoming, I-25, then I-45 from Houston, Texas to Dallas, Texas. Contrary to popular belief, interstate...
I am very familiar with... I'm from northern Illinois. It's where I was born. 80 and 88, the east-west, I'm pretty familiar with. But I-75 is where I've spent the majority of my adult life. And let me tell you, when you're driving from basically Orlando, Tampa area to the Chattanooga area of Tennessee, which is where I've got some family, a little bit north of there, that is the most boring drive. Most boring 8 hours from middle Florida to northern Georgia ever. And it's just a straight line on 75. There couldn't be anything. I'm looking here at like I-15. That would probably be pretty horrible too. But like, there's nothing more boring than just 10 hours on the exact same road, just going north.
Then I-45 from Houston, Texas to Dallas, Texas.
I kind of have to convince my my partner whenever we go traveling to take like U.S. routes, just because I don't know. I want to see, you know, where I'm driving. Essentially, I want to see the land. I don't want to just see tarmac for 400 miles.
Contrary to popular belief, interstates don't have to be interstate interstates. They can be intrastate interstates. The obvious examples are Hawaii and Alaska, which have intrastate interstates, but also Puerto Rico, which has an extra-state, intrastate? I mean, I guess technically it's an extra unincorporated territory? Anyway, these three being physically disconnected from the rest of the network use a different numbering system with letters. But back on the continent,
I was going to
there
say,
are,
with
in
the
fact,
intrastates,
way
like,
more
would they, why would
interstates
they
than interstate
classify it as
Most are the interstate miners we will get to, but I-45 is notable for being the only interstate major that's intrastate. Finishing up the north-south majors, it's Texas again and Laredo to Duluth, Minnesota, I-35, then Chicago, Illinois to La Place, Louisiana, I-55, and finally hop over to Mobile, Alabama, up to Gary, Indiana on I-65. Together, the interstate major constellation with its shining numbers lets
It's a
you
pretty nice
navigate
grid.
the nation. The lower the numbers, the more south and west you are, the higher north and east. If it ends in 0, you're traveling horizontally, and if it ends in 5, vertically. Very satisfying. Now, there are scores of lesser connecting constellations as well. These are interstate miners and use 3 digits to communicate their navigational secrets. Interstate miners
Isn't this mostly going to be reserved for like your roundabouts, like around cities and stuff like that? Like 275 and 75 in Florida?
diverge from a major and have their last 2 digits match the major from whence they came. Then, if the first digit is even, it means the interstate miner will eventually connect back to its parent major. For example, as I-70 crosses the nation, I-670 diverts in Kansas City, Missouri, but eventually circles back to connect to I-70 in Kansas City,
I didn't know
Kansas.
that about the
Even-numbered miners are
numbering
often called
of
bypasses
the
when they bypass
prefix.
something, or beltways when they encircle something. An
Okay.
interstate miner that starts with an odd number warns that it will not connect back to
That
its parent. This
makes
is
sense.
called a
I can't
spur.
think of
Example,
any, and
as
we're going to see
I-90 goes
some.
past Buffalo, I-190 diverges, and the odd
Okay.
digit lets you know you won't be coming back, instead plunging one way into the wilds of Canada. Nice! Though sometimes a spur won't just go nowhere, it will instead connect back to another interstate major. In this case, which of the double digits are used as the base of the triple? And the answer is there isn't a consistent answer. It's up to the states. So that's interstate majors and minors, but there's also interstate mediums, like I-64 from Wentzville, Missouri to Chesapeake, Virginia, and I-29 from Kansas City, Missouri to Pembina, North Dakota. The interstate mediums follow the same numbering pattern as the majors, all 2 digits, if we keep those leading zeros in our hearts, evens east-west, odds north-south. All in order too, except for I-99, which is so annoying.
Yeah, that's
DOT, why
weird.
did you do this? What? Congress specifically picked 99 out of order for this highway, so Congress is
because
the
it has
only
to do
one
with,
who
like,
can fix it?
What is that,
Ugh.
DC area?
Well, let's just try to ignore that and move on. The interstate majors are
Oh,
all
that was New
uniquely
York, right?
numbered, but not
Like
so
southern
with
New
the
York?
mediums.
That is
There's
weird.
an I-76 from Big Springs, Nebraska to Denver, Colorado, and another I-76 from Belmar, New Jersey to Akron, Ohio. Sandwiched between the majors I-90 and I-80 are duplicate medium I-84s, I-86s, I-87s,
An
and
I-76
I-88s.
split
The
thing
rule
would
is
drive
that
me insane.
As long as the duplicates are far enough away to avoid muddling minds, it's fine. There are also loads of duplicate interstate miners, which there have to be if you think about it. Take I-95, which crosses 15 densely populated states. To
Yeah,
only
you're
have
probably going to get some
9
repeating.
options for
Yeah.
spurs and bypasses would be rather limiting. In fact, just Maryland alone has an I-195, 295, 395, 495, 595, 695, 795, 895, and really?
Okay.
So close. DOT, you've got to build an I-995 in Maryland just to complete the set for me, please. So that's the system, but as we've already seen with interstate mediums, anything built over decades is going to acquire exceptions. And taking a little detour to my home interstate, I-495, aka the Long Island Expressway, aka the LIE, don't dare call it the lie or locals will laugh at you. This is the spinal spur of the Long Island fish, never connecting back to its parent I-95 because Long Island is an island. But as a one-way
So
spur,
wait, yeah,
it
why-
should
how's that a
start
spur?
with
It should
an
start with an
digit,
odd,
not
right?
even, and it really should be a 2-digit interstate medium because it technically doesn't connect to I-95 at all, rather just dropping you off in Midtown Manhattan with an LOL buddy, good luck finding the Lincoln Tunnel. I guess the LIE is a lie after all. A worse
kinda
exception on the
crappy.
other
That's
coast
pretty
in San
crappy by the
Francisco is
DOT.
Interstate 238, which the number tells you should be a bypass off of I-38, but no, I-38 doesn't exist. I-238 is a one-way spur connecting 2 other interstate miners, I-580 and I-880, so
why
I don't
wouldn't
even
it be
know what's
like
going on. There's also some weirdly one-off numbering, such as I-35, which splits into I-35 East and I-35 West to reach Fort Worth and Dallas before rejoining and pulls the same
Why
trick
wouldn't
up
that be
north,
like
dividing into
why wouldn't that be
east-west
like an
branches again to hit the Twin
I-235?
cities? Why wasn't just one of the branches on each end picked to be the bypass so that the system
Yeah.
could be consistent? Was it because the cities didn't want
It's
to be the
friggin'
one
Texas.
considered
Oh, it's
bypassed?
Minneapolis, St. Paul. What
That's
the hell?
totally the reason, isn't it? The weirdest one off is the
Wait, I
nice
missed that.
considered bypass so that the system could be consistent. Was it because the cities didn't want to be the one considered bypassed? That's totally the reason.
I'm a Minneapolis girl, not a St. Paul girl, is a quote from a family friend, essentially. My partner, a family member-in-law of my partner. Really great woman, but she constantly would say, I'm a Minneapolis girl, not St. Paul.
Reason, isn't it?
There's some serious St. Paul Minneapolis hate, is all I'm saying. So nobody wants to be bypassed.
I-69 East, I-69 West, and I-69C. Okay, you do you, I-69. At least you have a sign, unlike back in New York with America's smallest Interstate 878 at just under a mile, which apparently doesn't deserve a sign, so the interstate anoraks can never complete their selfie collection. Okay, that's enough exceptions. I could do this all day. I already cut so many from the script you wouldn't believe it. Back to the big, beautiful, constructed constellation and its lost wayfinding ways, now revealed so that as your ancestors before you navigated by the sky, you too can go on an American road trip navigating by the interstate numbers alone.
That was a really dorky video that I loved so much. I mean, it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. Yeah. That was CGP Gray with 5.8 million subscribers. Great video. Fantastic video. Tell me what you guys thought. Do you think the bypass in Minneapolis with the West and the East is a little bit of sibling city rivalry, so to speak? Let me know. If you could, comment, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great day.